Just recently, Caitlyn Clark became the Fever's franchise leader in most three-pointers in a single season. Throughout her first season in the WNBA, she's no stranger to setting these incredible records, from triple-doubles, point totals, to literally the league's single-game assists record. Calling her incredible is an understatement. We have never seen anyone like her. I don't know how many times I've seen a YouTube comment on a Fever game highlight saying that Caitlyn is the only reason they watch the W. So, before it gets too loaded, let's jump right into the CC bandwagon. And to fully embrace her greatness, let's get to know Caitlyn better with some, let's say, facts that helped her become the player we see and love today. If you're feeling a little old yet, Caitlyn was born on January 22, 2002 in Des Moines, Iowa. She came from a family with a serious athletic background. Her ever-so-charming and supportive father, Mr. Brent Clark, played basketball and baseball at Simpson College in Indianola. Caitlyn's grandfather, Bob, was the football coach at Dowling, the same high school she will soon play for. Her brothers Blake and Colin were also her first basketball playmates, too. Caitlyn tried out multiple sports before focusing on basketball. She tried softball, volleyball, golf, and tennis, too. She was a starter at Dowling's soccer team during her first and second years, and even scored a mind-blowing 71 goals in a single season. Just imagine if she'd chosen to kick the ball instead. The entire landscape of women's sports might look different today, but we should be thankful she chose basketball. Caitlyn's dad, Brent, was her first coach, and early on, he was able to see that his daughter had quite advanced skills for her age. At age 5, she was already dribbling 2 basketballs at once, a drill most adults struggle to master. But unfortunately, girls her age wouldn't take an interest in the sport early on. So, Brent signed her up to the boys' league instead, and when she entered to play for the girls' league in middle school, she was regularly out scoring entire teams by herself. By highlight, she averaged 32.5 points per game. By the time she entered University of Iowa for college, expectations were sky high. And Caitlyn didn't just meet those, she obliterated them. She led the entire country in scoring during her freshman year. Let that sink in. She led the entire College Women's Basketball of America in points scored as a freshman. And when media recognition started spilling over, the Women's College League skyrocketed. Watching her for 4 years in Iowa, we all know that Caitlyn broke tons of records in the NCAA and Big Ten. Throughout her career, she averaged 28.4 points and made 548 three-pointers. With that, Caitlyn Clark holds the record for most points scored in NCAA history, with 3,951 points for both men and women. Now, I know this is pretty common knowledge by now, but admit it, it still blows your mind every time you hear about it. Due to the effect she's had in women's basketball, of course Caitlyn deserves to get that bag. Back in 2021, the NCAA allowed college players to make money through their names, image, and likeness, or NILs. Basically, student athletes can get paid for sponsorships, social media brand deals, and TV commercials. Caitlyn was one of the beneficiaries of this new enactment. When her popularity clicked in 2022, Caitlyn rose to 1.1 million Instagram followers. The Clark jersey even became the best seller among any other player in college ball, for both men's and women's. Imagine, in a sport traditionally dominated by men, a woman outsold them all. Caitlyn even then landed big deals with State Farm, Gatorade, and Nike. These totaled to $3.1 million. With that sum alone, made her the highest-earning NCAA women's basketball player ever. And if we're talking big here just this year, Wilson, yes, the ball, not a jaw, partnered with her for the Limitless Collection, which got sold out in 11 hours upon release, and Wilson hasn't partnered with any basketball player since, just Michael Jordan. With all the accolades, the end of Caitlyn's senior year in Iowa revolved around media speculation about her future. Not many know that Caitlyn had an option to return with the Hawkeyes for a 5th season, a choice given to players who entered in 2020 during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, Caitlyn was quick to answer the claims and announced that she had committed for the 2024 WNBA draft. It was a matter of could-have-beens and what-ifs. Will she finally win that elusive NCAA title, a drought in her trophy case she had long hoped for? Would she get to 4,500 total points? What if she stayed and developed her characteristics better? Will she have a stronger start to her WNBA career? Well, those are mere speculations now. We couldn't have dreamt of a different hypothesis than what we are seeing now. Caitlyn's breaking WNBA rookie game and season records. She's wheeled the Fever to a playoff appearance for the first time in 8 years. As much as we want to see her dominate another year in the NCAA, Caitlyn is on a professional level, and from what we've seen, she's a cut above the rest of the players in the big league. Caitlyn had an incredible 4 years of college ball, but did you know that she was also outstanding in academics? She's an honor student in marketing in Iowa's Tippie College of Business. She finished with a 3.64 GPA, earning her a spot at the Academic All-America team. Talk about impressive in and out of the court. Well, a star needs a little breather sometimes, and Caitlyn does a lot of things on the side to unwind from the high-pressure nature of competitive sports. She continues to play golf as a hobby, trying to play at least 4 times a week. She also likes baking. She's known to be fond of making her family some brownies. She's also a big country music fan, often listening during pre-game to calm her nerves down. And speaking of country, I think she's also quite the big Taylor Swift fan. That's something we all have in common. Since her entry in the professional league, we have always known Caitlyn to put the buckets in from 3. It's one of the reasons why she became so popular in the first place. But if you look at the numbers, Caitlyn's long-distance activity is a cut above the rest. And comparing that to the NBA's best distance shooter, Steph Curry shoots an average distance of 27.58 feet. Damian Lillard is at 27.68 feet. The best distance shooter by average in the men's league is Atlanta's Trae Young at 27.94 feet. Caitlyn Clark, 28.09 feet. The 2024 NCAA championship between Iowa and Carolina drew 18.7 million viewers on average compared to the men's 14.8 million. This is the most for any women's basketball game except the Olympics, and fans watched for the sole purpose of seeing Caitlyn Clark in action. To add to that, the Hawkeyes got 12.3 million viewers against Louisiana State University. Their Final Four matchup against the University of Connecticut was watched by 14.2 million people. These record-breaking ratings continued as Caitlyn entered the WNBA. Her debut against the Connecticut Sun hooked 2.1 million recurring viewers, topping any WNBA game in almost 23 years. Continuously, Fever games are getting watched the most among any other team in the W. I mean, look at the WNBA YouTube channel and compare all Fever highlights versus the non-Fever highlights. The difference is instrumental. Caitlyn Clark is must-watch TV. Something more neutral about Caitlyn's game is her negative body language. During high school, this would be crucial to her team's success. She really just wanted to win. But high school is high school, and a lot had other plans. Basketball was a hobby for most. This caused a very impaired relationship with some of her teammates, and even Caitlyn admitted that she hadn't really had many close friends in high school. It was only during college that Caitlyn found the same spirit she had in her teammates in Iowa. However, she had continuously shown this behavior multiple times, especially down the stretch. But this time, Caitlyn's coaches and teammates were finally tough enough to confront her about it. Even during this season in the WNBA, Caitlyn had shown some negativity through her gestures, but you could tell she's trying to fix it. She's becoming more of a leader, encouraging teammates and activating them in their struggles. The thing with this reluctant attitude is that Caitlyn is a real fierce competitor. She practices like no one else. She's known to have grueling practice routines, often shooting 500 three-pointers a day. That's not a typo. 500 every single day. Kind of reminds me of certain basketball Hall of Famers who are the first to arrive and the last to leave the gym, and the same notorious practice routine from basketball's greatest shooter. Even one of the GOATs has shown to have this characteristic, and he seems to be doing just fine going into year 22. Sure, Caitlyn needs to change that behavior, but like some of the greats, it's always been rooted from her desire to win. Mamba mentality, perhaps. Do you have any other unknown facts about Caitlyn Clark's basketball journey? Drop them in the comments below. Till next time,